Welcome to 21st Sports reaction to the news that David Ortiz is going to be announcing his retirement after the 2016 season. Multiple media outlets are reporting that he's going to announce that on his 40th birthday. Right now it's November 17th, tomorrow November 18th, and it could be tomorrow by the time you're listening to this, but he's supposed to announce that he's going to retire on his 40th birthday. He's going to make the announcement that he's going to retire after the 2016 season. Now, that's not necessarily 100% a guarantee that he will retire per se after that season. He could stick around for 2017. He does have a club option for $10 million, or the Red Sox have that option, and also he has said that, it depends on how he feels. The age isn't necessarily something that he thinks about when he makes the decision. It's really about what his body tells him. Because there was the, people who thought that maybe he might retire after this last season, but he actually had a really good year. He had one of his best years in the last, decade or so, really since back in 2007, but he had 37 home runs in 2015 and 108 RBIs as he ended up going over the 500 mark. He's now at 503 home runs on his career. He actually trails just Frank Thomas for most home runs as a DH, as Frank Thomas has 521. So he should be able to pass that in 2016 to be the designated hitter with the most home runs. Is, in my opinion, David Ortiz is definitely a Hall of Famer without a doubt. He's one of the best clutch hitters, if not the best clutch hitter in the history of baseball, especially coming up big back in 2004 when the Red Sox were down 0-3 to the Yankees. And he came up big in Game 4 with the home run there in the 12th inning, and then in Game 5 with the walk-off single in the 14th inning. And, of course, he also came up big in Game 7 of that series as well. And then in the World Series to beat the Cardinals back in 2004, as he ended up, coming up big, and even in 2007 and in 2013 as he led the Red Sox along with many other players, but he was definitely, the real core of the team, the leader of the team. And that was the first, he helped them to break the curse of the Bambino that stood for 82 years, as the Red Sox hadn't won since 1918 until Big Papi led them to that World Series in 2004. Of course, they did have some other great players like, Pedro Martinez, Manny Ramirez, just to name a couple. But David Ortiz, like I said, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, designated hitter to ever play the game. So those 3 championships. He was the MVP just 2 years ago in 2013. He said he wants to come back, to lead the Red Sox to one more championship. So, maybe the Red Sox could do that in 2016. If they don't, maybe he does come back for 2017. He hasn't officially announced this. This is just what the media is, putting out there. And we'll see, when it comes down to Wednesday. I almost want just to wait to see what he says, even though this is being picked up by so many different outlets. I mean, it's USA Today, Fox Sports, ESPN, even MLB.com, and I'm going to leave a link to in the description to the MLB.com article where they talk about it. I thought it was the best article, as they really go over his career and list a lot of his accomplishments, and they do a really good job at doing that. Going back, talking about even, with the Red Sox picking him up from Minnesota. I've always been a fan of David Ortiz, even back to those days when he was with the Twins, as he was like a backup first baseman. I remember I always used to put him on my baseball team on video games because you could do drafts, and you could always pick him up from the Twins, and I would start him, and he actually had good power in the video game even back then, and that was before he became the best slugger in all of baseball. And in his career, he hit .284 and so far, and 503 home runs, 1,641 RBIs. He's in back in 2013 when he was the MVP of the World Series. He batted .688. He was 11 of 16 in that World Series with 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and he had an OPS of 1.948. So that's one of the top performances. Actually, I believe that was the top performance until Pablo Sandoval ended up topping that the very next year with the Giants. But David Ortiz, like I said, one of the greatest designated hitters. I believe he is without a doubt a Hall of Famer. And it's really, I would say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer in my opinion. But we know how that necessarily, goes with the first ballot and everything. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions about Big Papi. And do you think he's going to come back for 2017? Is he going to retire after 2016? It's not yet official. It's not official until he says the words himself. And like I said, even then, it's not necessarily 100%. Sometimes, guys come back. But of course, if he makes the last, the retirement tour is, like we've seen with all the greats, he's going around getting all the gifts from all the different teams. It'll be interesting to see what gifts different teams bestow upon Big Papi, one of the greatest sluggers ever to play the game of baseball. Like I said, once you hit 500, that right there is a guarantee for the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, not to mention the 3 championships. Also with his batting average, I mean, that's definitely a good enough batting average to get in the Hall of Fame. Guys are in the Hall of Fame with, far less batting averages, like 30 points less. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. I'm definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day, had a great weekend, and have a great week, and enjoy all the sports.